Why do oceans have waves? Hi, welcome to Curious Kids Every Day. I'm Josh. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Hey, do you know what this sound is? Yep, those are waves. That's what it sounds like when you go to the beach. Have you ever wondered what the ocean is like further out? Like, if you took a boat 100 miles away from shore. Is the water flat out there, or is it wavy the way it is at the shore? Well, it's always wavy, but some days are more wavy than others. Have you ever wondered why the ocean is wavy? Did you know that the sun and the moon have something to do with it? Let's talk about all of it today. When you look out at the ocean, you might see waves rolling and crashing one after another. It almost looks like the whole ocean is moving toward the beach, right? Well, it's actually not. What's really moving is energy traveling through the water. The water itself mostly just goes up and down, while the wave's energy keeps moving forward. So, what causes that energy? Well, there are three main kinds of waves in the ocean. Each is made in a different way. The first kind is the kind you see the most often. Those are wind-driven waves. These are made when the wind blows across the surface of the ocean. The wind pushes on the water and transfers its energy into it. The stronger and longer the wind blows, the bigger the wave gets. When the water is deep and far from shore, those waves roll gently like bumps. But when they reach shallow water, the bottom slows down and the top tips forward, and then splash, the wave breaks. You know how when you're near the shore at the beach, the water seems to get bigger and bigger until it starts getting all bubbly, and then that's what's happening. As the water gets more shallow, the bottom slows down and the top keeps moving faster, and that just creates a crash. Okay, then the second kind of wave is called a tidal wave, and this is where the moon gets involved. Tidal waves are made by the gravity of the moon and the sun pulling on Earth's oceans. That pull makes the water rise and fall as the moon moves around the planet. The gravity from the moon actually pulls the water towards it a little bit. These waves are enormous and move very, very slowly, taking many hours to cross the ocean. When they reach the shore, they cause what we see as high tide and low tide. That's why, when you're at the beach, depending on the time of day that you are on the sand, you might see the water up higher or down lower. Tidal waves aren't the kind that crash or curl. They're the slow, steady motion of the entire ocean, moving under the moon's gentle pull. Now, I said the sun helped too. The moon has the stronger effect because it's so much closer, but the sun's gravity still adds to the pull. Sometimes the moon and sun pull in the same direction and their forces combine. This makes tides extra high, which is called a spring tide. Other times, they pull at angles to each other, which makes the tides weaker, which is called a neap tide. So even though the moon is the main cause of tides, the sun helps make them bigger or smaller, depending on where it is in the sky compared to the moon. Okay, and then the third kind of wave is very different and very powerful. It's called a tsunami. Tsunamis are not caused by the wind or the moon. They happen when something big suddenly moves a lot of water, like an underwater earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or a landslide. That sudden movement sends a giant wave racing across the ocean. In deep water, it can move as fast as an airplane. When it reaches shallow water near land, it rises up into a massive, dangerous wave. So, wind waves are made by the air blowing across the sea. Tidal waves, or tides, are made by the moon and sun pulling on the ocean, and then tsunamis are made by sudden movements under the sea. Each one moves energy through the water in its own way, and together they keep our oceans always in motion. The ocean is never completely still, not even in the middle of nowhere. Okay, let's have a quick quiz. What causes most of the waves we see at the beach? Wind blowing across the surface of the ocean. What pulls on Earth's oceans to make tidal waves? That would be the gravity of the moon and the sun. And what kind of wave is caused by an underwater earthquake or a volcano? That would be a tsunami. All right, true or false? Tsunamis can move as fast as an airplane across the ocean. That is true, even though you might barely notice them when in deep water. Once it gets to that shallow water, that energy is... True or false? The sun has nothing to do with the tides. That's false. The sun helps make tides higher or lower depending on its position with the moon. Would you rather surf on a giant wind-driven wave or float in the middle of the ocean and feel the low rise and fall of a tidal wave? I love floating in calm water, but I've always wanted to learn to surf. So if I had a choice, I would learn to surf on a giant wind-driven wave. That sounds really cool. All right, let's play a quick round of What Am I? What am I? I'm a close neighbor. My gravity is very important. And sometimes I look full, and sometimes I disappear. What am I? Yep, that would be the moon. I will tell you what, one of the most peaceful sounds in the whole world is the sound of waves crashing on the beach. There's just something so calming about that sound. I don't know if it's the memories that I have of being at the beach, or if it's just something about that sound itself that is just so peaceful. Whatever the reason, it's really fun to now know a little bit more about what makes those waves. The next time you're near water, now you'll know all the different things that can cause the beautiful waves that we love to watch and hear. What kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out, so until then, keep asking questions And stay curious, kids! And for all the grown-ups listening, if you'd like an activity sheet for every new episode of the show, please join the Curious Kids Club at supportcuriouskids.com. See you tomorrow!